Okay, this is actually my friend Emerald. The reason I'm choosing to talk about this right now, in any future video that I do, I will be using some ingredients that I term as free. In other words, things that cost at one point, but you use them so often you don't really have to think twice about them. Things like salt and pepper, which I have. I'd use ground pepper. It tastes a lot more fresh. It does leave a little bit more chunks when you do eat, so if you're really not okay with that really big spice, I would suggest just using the shaker pepper, but I like the spice, so I use the ground pepper. This is also my salt box. It's handy for cooking, especially rather than shaking salt over. You can just grab it and go. If you are a little bit worried about cleanliness, just make sure that your hands are washed beforehand. You don't want to mix things like I just touched raw chicken and threw my hands in the salt and then use it again the next day to cook salad or something else like that with. It's just something, make sure that your hands are always clean when you're doing that. Again, back to Emerald's. You can buy this giant size at Costco, Sam's Club, I believe any other major retailer, like I think GFC actually has it as well. And it usually retails for about $7 to $8 for a giant bottle. If you go to Meijer or Walmart, I think it's around $4 or $5 for the smaller one. I suggest buying this one and then maybe getting a shaker container that's smaller. You can refill it. I've just used it so much now that I just use it right out of those bottles. So it is a good blend of seasoning. You can use it on meats, vegetables, anything that you're frying. It's just a really good blend of basic seasoning. Outside of that, I'll be using a lot of butter. You can buy the fake stuff if you're trying to watch calories. You can buy squirt butter. Actually doesn't have any calories in it, but when you're cooking, using things like in a fry pan, I suggest using the real thing. The squirt doesn't handle it. So these are my free ingredients. You'll see these a lot when I cook. Mostly for today, you'll see the butter in everything but the sausage. The Emeralds will be in everything but the green beans, and the salt and pepper goes in everything because no matter what anyone says, you need to put salt and pepper in everything. And that took me a very long time to get accustomed to that because I don't really like salt or pepper. So it does add spice though, so make sure you do use it. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and throw this stuff in the microwave and on the stove and start the cooking process. Okay, now that we're ready to actually start cooking, a little bit more about the time limit. These are gonna cook really fast. The sausage is already pre-cooked, so the only thing you have to worry about is getting the barbecue coating to get on it and to stick. It is a sticky barbecue. It adds to the taste so your barbecue sauce isn't falling off the sausage as you're eating. Otherwise, you might as well just dip it in the barbecue sauce, and that's not what we're trying to do. These will take about 15 minutes at the most. I've had my pan heating with butter, so it should cut the time down a little bit. Make sure when you're doing this that you don't let this stay on for too long because it will start to smoke, as you might be able to see, and you can actually catch it on fire, so try not to do that. The other thing, the green beans, if you buy the steamable ones, they take about 6 minutes. They're about $1.50 more, so I just bought the ones that are frozen in a regular bag. These will take about 10 minutes in a microwave. You can put salt and butter on them now. I would wait until about the last 2 minutes and then go ahead and put any seasoning or butter you want to on the beans because the butter will fry and it'll taste a little burned. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and throw these in the microwave. These can get done a little bit early and it won't really matter because they'll stay heated and warm in the microwave. It is a microwave. It does keep things warm as long as this door is closed, so not too worried about that. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put the potatoes on and let them get going. I'll wait for about 5 to 10 minutes on the sausage and then I'll start that. Beans are going. They've got about 7-8 minutes left on them. I did go ahead and put a lid on the potatoes. It does make them cook a lot quicker. They're actually about done right now, about 5 more minutes, and they should be about perfect. You are starting to see that they do have a little bit of a golden brown to them. That just means that they are actually frying. They're not burned. I wouldn't worry too much about them. Just make sure that you're keeping butter in it going and that you're constantly stirring them. But those should be done in about 5 minutes at the most. At this moment, I'm going to go ahead and put the sausage in the pan. The pan was already preheated. It should be at about a medium heat when you go ahead and start to preheat it. They're already cooked through, so all you're looking to do is to get kind of a brown to them. They kind of look a little bit on the burn side, but that actually just means that they're right about done and ready. You can put the barbecue sauce on now. I wouldn't suggest putting all of the barbecue sauce that you want on it right now. Towards the end, when they're just about ready, I would put another coating of it on. You don't need a lot because you will mix this around with them. You can use a couple different kinds of barbecue. If you like a little bit of spice, I would suggest this one. It's called Bullseye Barbecue Sauce. The original flavor is my personal favorite. It's got a little bit of a bite to it, so if you like spice, it's what I suggest. Otherwise, I always also keep Sweet Baby Ray's on hand. It is cheaper, and it's a good, just basic barbecue sauce. Then with this, all you're going to do is just make sure that the sausage is coated in the barbecue. You don't have to worry too much about getting an even coat right now. It just needs to sit and meld with it. At this point, you can also put any spicing on it. Sometimes I put a little cayenne pepper on it. You can add a little red hot if you like things a little bit spicier, which I might do. Probably not today, but just for this demonstration video, if you do like a little bit more spice. Otherwise, salt and pepper these for sure towards the end, especially to get that flavor into it. But for now, I'm just gonna let them sit. You can see the barbecue starting to already rise up. It's just what happens when barbecue starts to get hot in the pan and it becomes a little bit stickier with the sausage. It blends with that skin on the outside of the sausage and becomes more of a sticky barbecue sauce. So, I'm going to let these go for a couple more minutes, throw another coating on in a few, and then we'll be back with the rest of the meal and it should be about done. Okay, everything's about done now. The green beans have been in for about 12 minutes. I did put them at another 2 minutes extra just to be safe. Things can be too hot, don't want things to still be frozen. The potatoes are done. I did have them covered now for about 20 minutes just to make sure that they're done and pulled through. You will start to see things, excuse the steam, that do get a little bit piecey. That's okay. They don't have to be perfect. In the end, they're just going to taste like fried potatoes. With the seasoning, though, it does give them a nice golden brown. A couple pieces did get a little bit charred, but nothing's perfect. But in that, again, was just butter, seasoning. There was no oil, so it is rather on the healthier side. I mean, butter's not too healthy, but it's better than putting oil in there. So those are done. The sausage, I did put another coat of barbecue sauce on. As you can see, it got a little sticky. That's the way it's supposed to. It comes off in larger clumps. That's nothing to be afraid of. It's just barbecue sauce. So, for your full meal, I'll go ahead and plate. And like I said, this is a lot of sausage for one person, so if you're cooking for one, you could probably get away with one and be okay. The potatoes, if you are not a fan of just plain potatoes, ketchup is fine. Ketchup is everyone's friend. That works just fine too. And then finally, and please use hot pads, I burn myself all the time, the green beans. You can add butter, like I said, the last 2 minutes. I went ahead and added butter and salt to taste. Make sure you do mix it up though. Even though the butter sits on top, it is good to get the outer edges and the salt. You don't want all the salt to sit on top. And be careful, even using a glass bowl, the bowl is really hot, so make sure you're using a pad when you're actually pulling it out of the microwave. So, there you go. Meal for $5 or less. Put whatever you need to drink with it, and again, it costs $4.29. You can add a little bit more seasoning to if you want. Like I said, if you're really good into spice, add some Red Hot. I cook with Red Hot a lot now. Add some cayenne pepper. But otherwise, plain meal suffices better than a hamburger sometimes, and I hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for the next one. I believe the next one's going to be another meal on a budget, but I'm not quite sure yet, so stay updated with my blog. Again, it's thecollegehomemaker.blog.com, where I'll put some recipes up this week, a little bit more maybe about this meal, and some shopping tips, and hopefully introduce the next blog too, which should be out again in about a week from now. I'll try to get a few more coming, but we'll see how that works. So until then, have a great day. See you in my kitchen next week.